I wouldn't say it's normal because all of a sudden
it's never been normal, is it? It's absolutely bonkers.
I am joining you live from my bar.
Oh wow! That potentially could be worth it for 30 goals a season.
Hello, my name is Roshan, Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In 20. If you're a parent, and if you're a parent out there listening to me, you know exactly how it feels when one of your friends throws a pool party for their children and you're dragged there with your kids, and then you have to get them out of the pool and rush back and do the show. Have you ever been in that situation, Danny? When you didn't want to go to a party?
It's work, Roshan, isn't it? It's always work. You know, you've got to go first. People don't understand that they think we have this glamorous life, you know, of fluffers and makeup people and sound engineers. It's not. It's just me and you. That's it. We got to do it all ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all by ourselves. Thomas Tuchel is all by himself right now. Okay, congratulations to Liverpool, FA Cup champions, winners. What a game. It was literally like woodwork after woodwork after woodwork. Not Ed Woodward, but it was just the players and teams whacking the goalpost time in and time out. But what a cup final.
Incredible. Not dissimilar to the League Cup final, was it? You know, 2 matches, no goals, but fantastic matches. You know, and again, you know, obviously, I guess bizarre that they both now have American owners who are going 0-0. What is 0-0? What is this? No goals? You know, how can it be entertaining? I think that's sort of the old stereotype, isn't it? Of the how Americans view soccer if there's no goals. But 2 fantastic games. You know, both teams going at it, and sadly it comes down to penalties, and someone has to miss.
My heart broke for Mason Mount. Unbelievable player, unbelievable season. Champions League winner last year. He was a big-time player there. But let's focus on the manager, right? Say, for example, he walks away right now from Chelsea because it's new owners. They might think, you know what, he's not good enough. Would you look back at his time at Chelsea and go, he's a winner, or...
Yeah, I think it's a very short period of time he's been in, hasn't it? When you think about it. You know, they are European champions still. You know, this season hasn't gone according to plan, but they're still gonna finish 3rd. You know, they've been in 2 cup finals and lost on penalties. If flip that round, it's the debate, isn't it? Is if Liverpool now don't win the league and the Champions League, is that still a successful season? Having been in, you know, sort of effectively 4 races.
Yeah,
you know, it's all sort of relevant. Chelsea have been disappointed in the league. We know that they weren't a million miles away from beating Real Madrid in the Champions League. It's the same argument is about Manchester City, isn't it? You know, if they only win the Premier League, is that successful this season? You know, if Manchester City win nothing, is that successful? Not in terms of trophies, but it come very, very close. So, and then you look at everything that's gone on, even up to that point with the sanctions at Chelsea, they were never going to win the league at that stage. But I think the Lukaku transfer hasn't really worked out as everybody thought that it would do. You know, I thought it would be between Manchester City and Chelsea this season after that signing. But sometimes, you know, it doesn't work out. But yeah, I think if he left now, I still think you'd have to still say it was a success.
It was a success. But you spoke about Chelsea's starting 11, including the bench, and it's world class, man. Any of these players can get into any top team in the world, in my opinion, as a football fan. So the question is, overall, right? Would you allow him another 2 or 3 years, or when's that cutoff period? Because if it was under Roman Abramovich, people would have been going like, "Oh God, it's already time."
No, you have to go back. There was big injuries to Reece James and Ben Chilwell, and I think that changed the way that they played. Because at that point, those 2 were playing as the wide midfield players or the wing backs. You had 3 at the back, and they were putting crosses in for Lukaku early on in the season. You know, that you were playing to his strengths when you had those 2 bombing on, putting crosses into the box. I think Lukaku was, he scored 7 goals, you know, very, very early on. And you're thinking, okay, we can see this working. Those 2 then get injured. for a period of time. You adjust and change the style of play. Lukaku then picks up a little injury. Then we have the Sky Italy sort of comments and all the rest of it. And everything sort of fell down at once. All those things came together, to cause one or two problems. So it's like any manager. When you lose key players and key, not like they weren't signings, but when you lose those key players, it's difficult. Reece James outstanding. Ben Chilwell has been outstanding. And when you're replacing them with players that aren't quite as good and are integral, a bit like Liverpool losing Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson for 6 months. They struggled. Look what happened when they lost Van Dijk. They really struggled. So yeah, as great as these squads are, you lose a couple of big players, it's very, very difficult.
Okay, let's talk about Lukaku then. His time in Italy, unbelievable. He was literally the juggernaut there. So the question begs, flat track bully in the Serie A, mid-tier player at best in the Premier League?
I think he's got all the attributes, and he's done it in the Premier League in the past. Don't forget. We've seen him score goals. When I look at Lukaku, sometimes would it be fair to say he looks a little bit cumbersome at times?
Okay. I don't know what it is. I think if he had that killer instinct in him, if I look at Haaland, who is good call,
similar sort of height, but he looks a lot more nimble. He looks a lot leaner. He looks a lot more athletic,
And he's got something switched on. When you look at Haaland, he might be eccentric, but he's there.
Lukaku looks a bit almost like sort of that heavyweight boxer build. He looks a little bit too top heavy at times. He doesn't look massively sharp. I guess his technique, his first touch has maybe always come into question, at times. And I think, yes, if you play to him and play to his strengths, exactly, then of course it's going to be decent. When you look at him at Manchester United, didn't really work for him. So I think he's that type of player where you have to play the game that suits him. He's not massively adaptable to playing in different ways. And I think that's more the problem, rather than him being a flat track bully. So when you played him at West Brom, when they played him there, when he played at Everton, he was the main man. You played to his strengths, and he did fantastically well. Chelsea have got 8, 9 other great players in their team, and going, well, no, we're not just going to play for this guy. We're going to play how we need to play sometimes for the rest of the team as well. And that's why I think sometimes when Havertz is in the team, they seem to play better football.
Okay, good point. So what is that? How would you define him as a player? Is he that guy you buy in order to win something that you've never won before? Or is he that player whereby you go by, okay, he'll get you about 20, 30 goals, but that's it. There's nothing, there's no oomph.
I think you buy him if you're... So let's say Arsenal bought him now. He could take Arsenal from 4th, 5th to 2nd, because he goes in, he's the main man, and you say, right, we're going to play that way. Arsenal don't actually play that way, so that's not the greatest example. But do you understand what I mean? It's like, right, you're the main man. We are going to play to your strengths. We are just going to get you the ball, feed you the ball, and we want you to score. We don't want you to do anything else. So I think he can take that team, up 2 or 3 places if he's the main man. If you play exactly how he needs to play and how he wants to play, he can be a fantastic asset. Don't bring him in and expect him to adapt. Haaland's going to have to adapt his game slightly at Manchester City. Aguero had to adapt his game slightly at Manchester City. It'd be little tweaks within that. Lukaku couldn't go in there. Lukaku couldn't go into Manchester City and play as they do. I'm not sure he could play the way that Liverpool do. I don't think he could. I don't think Lukaku would fit in at City at all.
As in, is he technically not good enough, or
no, I don't think he is. I don't think he's that type of player. No, I don't. When you look at the way that City are, the way that they want to keep the ball, the speed of movement, the touch, the passing. Have you ever seen Lukaku play that way? I haven't. That's not being disparaging towards him. That's just not what he is. So don't bring a player in like that and expect him to do something else. Like, don't bring a centre forward in and play him at right back. Because you're not playing to their strengths. So again, I think the way Lukaku plays, he needs to play in a certain way. And if you don't play to these strengths, I'm not convinced he's hugely adaptable.
Okay, fine, fair enough. That's something you can never place against a player like James Milner, because he can play left back, right back, striker, goalkeeper, anything, he can do it. I'm a big fan of James Milner.
He's a rubbish goalkeeper, Rosh. He's rubbish.
Okay. If you
he's terrible. He's terrible in goal. I've seen him. He's rubbish.
Okay, I know I might be really extending this point of view, but let's just play along with me, right? When you talk about English football, right, you talk about the likes of David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard. But for me, I really believe that James Milner is up there for what he's achieved and what he's done throughout his career. He's gone into very mediocre teams and proven himself. He's been at City, where he scored this wonder goal against Bayern Munich, and now when he's at Liverpool, he's been a leader. Champions League winner, Premier League winner.
He's a top-class professional. He's looked after himself. When people go about, Ronaldo looks after himself brilliantly, but he's all over Instagram and whatever it is with his top off and, the six-pack and flexing the
you haven't
tan
seen
and everything else. I haven't. That's true, Roshan. And
I haven't seen it myself. I'm lying, but carry on.
It's there somewhere. It's hidden. It's well hidden.
It's just a barrel.
It's in disguise.
Yes, it is.
You don't embarrass everybody else, so you keep it disguised. I like that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
James Milner's an incredible professional. Absolutely outstanding. Looks after himself, is a leader.
Prime example for young players?
Oh, brilliant. Perfect example. If you're a manager and you've got James Milner in your squad, you're saying to all the young players, look at him. That's how you have to look after yourself. That's how you conduct your life. This is how hard you have to work. Get to 35, play like he's played, be the best that you can possibly be, and then go and do whatever you want for the rest of your life. It's simple as that. Give up and dedicate your life to football. And that's what James Milner's done. He's just below that top bracket of player, isn't he? He's done incredibly well everywhere he's been. Like I said, incredible utility player. England caps, under 21 and full squad as well. Reliable, can play, pretty much anywhere. Will do a job for you. Yeah, I mean, in terms of longevity and what he's done, I mean, and the high levels that he's maintained during that time, absolutely outstanding. So,
would you say that this is a good way of putting it? Like, if you have this young and up and coming style, if you bring in the superstar from abroad to a club like Liverpool, who's young, he's got a bit of arrogance, and he seems James Milner with the effort he's put in. Does that kind of humble that kind of player and say, "Oh my God, I really got to put the effort"?
It should do. But all the greatest players work hard. That's people always go, "Oh yeah, they're so talented. They're great." You've got to work hard. And this is why so many young, talented players don't make it or don't go as far as they should do because they don't work hard enough. And that's the major difference. And you can criticise sort of Cristiano Ronaldo maybe this season, but he's late 30s. Look how hard he's done at times, how hard he works at times. Even Messi would have worked hard. Beckham practicing free kicks after free kicks after free kicks. These things don't come around by luck. And that's, and so you're right. It is a perfect example. Say, look, you think you're good. Look at what this guy's done. This guy has punched way above probably his ability and achieved far more than that because of hard work and dedication and doing things right and drinking Ribena and not drinking red wine and beer and all the rest of it.
Coaching, would he make a good coach?
Yes, but I don't think he will. I know he has several passions in life, and one of the huge passion is golf. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does something in that field. He's been involved in the game now for 20 years at a professional level. It's outrageous. He probably might think, I just need a bit of a break. Just want to go and do something, maybe spend time with his family, his kids, travel, do whatever he wants to do. And of course, he's still young enough to do that, and he's earned that right. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a break from football for a bit.
Harry Kane won't take a break from football, hopefully, anytime soon. I know he's got a few more years on his contract, etc., etc. Always linked with all the other teams in the world. But would he fit into a team like Liverpool and make them better?
Liverpool, perfect. To play, you'd have, I don't know, Mane, Salah, Diaz flying down the outside of him, holding midfield players behind that. He would play the 9.5 role perfectly. You think of how Firmino has played that, at times.
Yep.
Harry Kane would score 20 odd more goals than that. Ooh. And probably get another 5 or 10 assists a season. He would be the perfect player to fit into that Liverpool side. Liverpool won't pay they won't pay the transfer fee. I can't see that happening in any way, shape, or form, unless if they sold Mo Salah, replacing Harry Kane, wouldn't be the worst in the world, would it?
Wow. Could you imagine Harry Kane, and then you got, like you said, Diaz on the left, you got all these other players behind him.
Mane on the other side.
Who's behind him?
Well, you could put anyone behind him. You'll have Fabinho in there. You have Keita can come into that.
Wow, that's scary, man.
Thiago Alcantara into that as well. I think the only way you could probably appease Liverpool fans if Mo Salah went would be bringing in Harry Kane. But they won't pay the transfer. I'm pretty sure of that.
Come on, Liverpool, you can do it. He's definitely good enough for the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona. Go there and make them better.
I've never really seen Harry Kane going abroad. The way that he is, he's never really sort of shown that inclination to go and play for those clubs. And again, it's not always easy. Young family that he's got, obviously very, very settled in North London. Makes a difference at times. It's tough to go abroad. It's easy to think. It's easy if you're just a player and you're single and you've got no responsibilities. It's easy to uproot your family. Take them to another country where your family don't speak the language and you've got all those other issues. Is not always an easy decision. And people do forget. Well, you certainly don't, but we are clearly not. We are ruled by our wives and families.
What do you mean? I'm not. I completely understand this. Happy wife, happy life. If you're, never mind. Let's not go there. This is not the Kardashian show. I wish I could have Kim Kardashian as a guest one day. I wonder if she
as a wife for a minute.
Oh no! I will. You never know. Let's talk about the fixtures coming up later on. Today, quick one. We got 2 minutes. Tottenham versus Burnley. If you want Leeds to stay in the league, you want this result to go in favour of Tottenham, correct?
In an ideal world for me, I would like Burnley to go down. So Tottenham beating Arsenal in the week is a great result because that means they've still got something to play for today. If Tottenham would have lost that game to Arsenal, their season would have almost been done. Right. And you're not quite sure what Tottenham would have turned up today. But I think they would, he took Son off, didn't he? Rested him for half an hour of the game. Tottenham will be at it today. And I think they will beat Burnley comfortable. And that's a great result for Leeds and a great result for Everton.
But Leeds do have Brighton. Brighton, I mean, I know they're not exactly playing for anything right now, but you never know.
Yeah, sometimes as well. Sometimes with the freedom you play with, that they're in good form. They're coming off the back of a 4-0 win against Man United.
But anybody can beat United. Come on.
Well, that's true. But they're playing with a freedom at the moment, and sometimes that's really difficult to play because no pressure. They can go out and they're in good form. They're confident. It's going to be a very, very difficult game for Leeds. I think if I'm trying to look at it practically, it wouldn't surprise me if that ends in a draw.
Oh God. So quick one. Couple of more seconds. We have. Go for Leeds win. Come on. You're a former player.
I just can't see it at the moment. There's so many injuries, suspensions. Where are the goals going to come from? Brighton are a good team, but if they get a point and Burnley lose, obviously it still goes down to the last game of the season.
All right, I'll remember exactly what you said, and so will the fans, because it's on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram page. All the highlights. Till the next time, take care.